They usually try to get the NBA Youngboy is now in a situation that's got everyone questioning his freedom and what's next for his career. Behind all the fame and the music money, Young B was on the road in Utah when an unexpected tip led to a traffic stop that could have turned his whole life upside down. The wild truth about how Mellow Rackz and his driver helped him stay clear of serious trouble is deeper than anyone thought, and we're about to break it all down. Fans can't stop talking about this. The internet has been going off debating loyalty, trust, and how real things get when pressure hits hard. This moment right here shows who's really solid when everything's on the line. Social media has been blowing up with talk about how Young B got pulled over in Utah, but somehow walked away while his team had to face the heat. But hold up, we're here to clear it all up. We're separating what's real from what's just talk and revealing exactly how things played out on that Utah highway. That one moment changed everything for NBA Youngboy and his crew. Here's the story. The multi-platinum rapper was driving on Interstate 15 in Utah when a state trooper pulled him over for what they said was a simple traffic violation. A lot of times these police precincts or these DA office, they actually get like a hard-on for like an artist or someone who they feel has evaded them. They're used to working with the judge and working the criminal justice system in the courts, and they have favorable outcomes. So when somebody beats them, they usually try to get their get back. But here's the twist. Many believe this stop wasn't random at all. Word is, someone gave authorities a tip about what might have been in that car, and ever since then, people have been saying that officials were watching Young B closely. Whatever really happened that night had the whole hip-hop scene talking. Now wait a second. Before anyone starts thinking this was just bad timing or random bad luck, let's be real. What happened here runs way deeper than that. This looked like a setup that was planned out to catch Young B slipping. And if it wasn't for the loyalty of the people riding with him that day, he could have been in some serious legal trouble right now. But here's where things get extra wild. The authorities are still heated about that presidential pardon, and word is they haven't stopped watching him since. Around 4:30 p.m. Utah time, NBA Youngboy was in a car with 3 people total. Him in the back seat, Mellow Rackz in the passenger seat, and a male driver holding it down up front. They were rolling down Interstate 15, probably thinking it was just a regular drive, when suddenly those flashing lights showed up behind them. Now, anyone who knows the game understands. When you're moving around someone who's high profile like Young B, you gotta stay extra careful. But according to Fox 13 Utah, police said they got a tip that this specific car might have had illegal items inside. That sounds suspicious, right? Somebody clearly gave out information. It's like someone in Young B's circle. Or maybe someone just keeping tabs on him decided to make that call and tell the cops exactly what ride he was in and what they might find. The Utah Highway Patrol pulled him over, saying it was just for a traffic violation, but everyone watching this situation knows it didn't feel random at all. So after getting that tip, the officers started looking for any reason to check the car. And here's where things get legally complicated. In Utah, certain substances that are legal elsewhere are still completely banned. So when that trooper said he smelled something that seemed suspicious, that alone gave him the green light to search the whole vehicle. According to the official statement from the Utah Highway Patrol, they carried out a probable cause search and ended up finding illegal substances, which they immediately confiscated. Once that happened, everyone in that car knew things were about to get real serious. That was the exact moment when loyalty got tested, when you see who's truly standing with the team and who might fold under pressure. But this situation goes way beyond a basic possession case. It's about loyalty and sacrifice. Reports say that Mellow Rackz and the driver stepped up right away and claimed full responsibility for what was found. They looked straight at the officers and said, "That's ours, not his." They made that decision on the spot, fully aware that they could be facing legal consequences in a state that's already known for being strict, especially when it comes to anything connected to NBA Youngboy. According to follow-up reports, the Utah County Attorney's Office is reviewing charges for the driver and Mellow Rackz, not for NBA Youngboy himself. The rapper reportedly walked away from that traffic stop without being arrested or charged, all because 2 people chose to protect him and take responsibility instead. That's loyalty on another level. Now, for anyone who doesn't get how that kind of loyalty works, let's break it down. When you're part of someone's crew, especially someone as big as NBA Youngboy, there's an unspoken code that everyone understands. The main earner, the one putting everyone in position, gets protected no matter what. It's not just about friendship or loyalty, it's about survival and keeping the money flowing so everyone around can eat. But the story doesn't stop there. Even though NBA Youngboy avoided charges that day, the pressure around him hasn't slowed down at all. Every step he takes seems to attract attention, and the spotlight on his every move just keeps getting brighter. It's almost like the system is waiting for one wrong step, but Young B's focus right now is on staying grounded and keeping his career moving forward.
Fans across social media are debating nonstop. Some believe he's being unfairly targeted because of his past, while others think it's just what comes with being one of the biggest names in the game. Either way, it's clear NBA Youngboy's every decision matters more than ever. With his family, his team, and his business depending on him, one wrong move could change everything. What makes this story even more powerful is the loyalty shown by the people around him. Mellow Rackz and the driver didn't just protect YB, they showed what it means to truly stand by someone when things get tough. That level of loyalty is rare, especially in an industry where most people switch sides the moment things go left. But here's what's really impressive. YB seems to be learning from every situation. Instead of reacting, he's been moving smarter, staying low-key, and focusing on building his empire the right way. Every headline and every challenge is just another test of how far he's come. And despite all the noise around his name, one thing's for sure, NBA Youngboy isn't backing down anytime soon.
His journey is still being written, and the world is definitely watching. It's like NBA Youngboy has a target on his back, almost as if he's public enemy #1 in certain circles. Let's break down why this Utah traffic stop might have been way more than just a random moment. Back in 2024, NBA Youngboy was facing some serious legal battles related to weapons charges, the kind that could have completely ended his career. But then, in a shocking twist that nobody saw coming, he received a presidential pardon that changed everything. The authorities had built their case from the ground up. They were ready to take him in, but that pardon cleared it all away. You can imagine how that must have felt for the prosecutors who spent years building that file. Do you really think they just shrugged it off and moved on? Not a chance. Many believe they've been quietly waiting for another shot to bring him back into the system. DJ Academics even spoke about this on his show, warning that YB needs to be extra cautious, especially in Utah. That state has a history with him. Remember, that's where he got caught up in a prescription-related issue back in 2024. He paid a $25,000 fine and thought that chapter was closed, but it seems like Utah didn't forget. Here's the thing. When you manage to beat the system once, people remember. When it happens twice, especially with a presidential pardon involved, it's bound to raise eyebrows. Reports even say Utah authorities were reviewing whether his past could somehow connect to this recent case, even though he wasn't the one who claimed responsibility for what was found. That right there shows how determined they are to keep him under a microscope. Authorities seem to be searching for any possible angle, any small detail to connect NBA Youngboy to what was found, and potentially use it against his record. But this whole situation goes beyond one traffic stop. It's part of a much bigger pattern that's raising concern about YB's choices and his future. Now let's keep it real. YB's had his share of run-ins with the law, and people close to him are starting to worry that he hasn't learned from the past. Some fans say he moves like he's got nothing to lose, and that kind of mindset can be risky, not just for him, but for everyone around him too. When you look back at his track record, YB's had several issues linked to controlled substances, everything from prescription-related situations to possession cases over the years. It's like he keeps ending up in the same kinds of situations again and again. Every time he manages to get past one case or walks away free, instead of stepping back and moving differently, he somehow finds himself right back in the heat. People in the industry even have a word for that kind of pattern. It's when someone keeps repeating risky behavior, expecting things to change. They don't take the warning signs seriously, even when trouble starts closing in. And right now, that seems to be the biggest challenge YB faces, breaking free from that cycle before it catches up with him. The streets and social media have both been buzzing about how he moves, saying that even being around anything questionable could put his freedom at risk. At this point, for someone like NBA Youngboy, a multi-millionaire artist who was recently granted a presidential pardon, his choices matter more than ever. Moving recklessly after being given that kind of second chance isn't just risky, it's self-sabotage. Think about it. He just got a life-changing break, avoided major legal time, built a fortune, has a family dependent on him, and still ends up in situations that could put it all at risk. That's not smart business. That's dangerous for his future. This isn't about trying to act tough or keep it real. It's about realizing what's at stake. Fans and critics alike are saying the same thing. If you've made it out of situations that most people wouldn't survive, why risk it all again? YB's at a point where one wrong move could undo everything he's worked for. But here's the bigger truth. The system doesn't want YB just because of one type of case or situation. It's deeper than that. He represents independence, influence, and power that can't easily be controlled. He's a young black man who made millions on his own terms, built a massive fan base, and beat the odds more than once, and that challenges the system in ways they don't like. Every time YB walks away from charges, every time he wins in court or gets cleared, it makes the people chasing him look weaker. And because of that, they're not slowing down anytime soon. Reports say they're watching closely, waiting for him or someone close to him to make the slight.
If they can't get to YB directly, they'll apply pressure to the people around him, the ones who help him move and keep things running smoothly. That's why what happened with Mellow Rackz and the driver is so important. It shows the kind of risks people take just to stand beside him. Let's really break down what's at stake here. If NBA Youngboy gets hit with any new legal issue while still under the watch of that presidential pardon, things could get extremely serious. The authorities could come after him even harder, arguing that he hasn't changed, that he's still a risk, and at this time, he deserves the harshest outcome possible. And let's be real, there's no guarantee of another presidential pardon waiting for him next time. Mellow Rackz and that driver basically bought YB more time. They gave him another shot to get things right and move smarter. But if he doesn't take this chance seriously, if he keeps repeating the same patterns, then everything they risked for him could end up being for nothing. They'd be left dealing with the consequences while YB faces more legal trouble, all because lessons weren't learned. For those who haven't followed his full story, here's the bigger picture. NBA Youngboy has faced multiple legal issues since the start of his career, from early assault accusations to weapon cases and controlled substance charges. It's been a long, complicated journey. He's done time behind bars, been under strict house arrest, and even had to wear ankle monitors at points. But somehow, trouble keeps finding its way into his path. Some people say that's part of his realness, that he lives what he raps about. But let's be honest, there's a big difference between being authentic and being self-destructive. You can still keep it real without constantly risking your freedom, your family, and your future. We love to celebrate artists who keep it real and stay connected to their roots, but at what cost? How many talented rappers have we watched lose everything to bad decisions, prison time, or worse, simply because they couldn't adjust once success came knocking? How many families have been torn apart because someone refused to move wisely when the spotlight got brighter? NBA Youngboy has the talent, the drive, and the fan base to be one of the greatest of his generation, but none of that matters if he can't stay free to enjoy it. All that fame, all that music, and all those millions mean nothing if he keeps giving the system reasons to circle back around. And when we talk about YB, we also have to talk about the people around him, because they're in a tight spot too. Mellow Rackz, taking responsibility for that case, showed an incredible level of loyalty and sacrifice. But let's keep it real. What happens if she's the one dealing with the consequences while YB moves on, dropping new tracks and living life? And what about the driver? If he ends up with the record, how's he supposed to find work or rebuild his life? That's the question everyone's asking. Loyalty is supposed to go both ways. You hold someone down, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. That means helping with lawyers, supporting your family, and keeping your name good while you handle your situation. But history in the music game tells a different story. Too many times we've seen people take the fall for big artists, only to be forgotten once the spotlight moves on. That's the dark side of fame that doesn't get talked about enough. This whole situation shines a light on a bigger issue in the music world: loyalty, fame, and responsibility. Once an artist like NBA Youngboy reaches the top, the pressure to stay there is massive. Every move, every friendship, every decision becomes a test of character. When people are dependent on you, your family, your crew, your label, you can't afford to make choices that put everything at risk. YB's story isn't just about legal trouble. It's about learning how to evolve when success comes fast. He's not that same kid from Baton Rouge trying to make it out. He's a global superstar now, with millions of eyes watching every step he takes.
That means the old ways of moving don't work anymore. It's time to level up mentally, not just financially. The real ones in his circle should be reminding him of that. They should be pushing him to focus on his music, his brand, and his legacy, not situations that could cost him everything. At this point, YB has the power to change the narrative. Instead of letting headlines define him, he can redefine himself, showing fans that you can come from the streets, win big, and still move smart. Fans want to see him win, not just drop hits. They want to see him grow, beat the odds, and inspire others to do the same. He's already proven that he's got the talent and determination to make history. Now it's about proving that he's got the discipline to stay on top. The truth is, YB's next few moves could define his entire legacy. If he plays it right, he could become one of the most influential artists of his generation, someone who turned his past into a story of redemption. But if he slips again, it could all fall apart. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen here, but that's the reality of how this game works. Mellow Rackz and that driver better hope YB remembers the loyalty they showed him when it's time for him to return that same energy. Because loyalty only means something if it's mutual, and moments like this show who's really solid when things get tough. At the end of the day, this whole situation isn't just about traffic stops or rumors. It's about power, loyalty, and the heavy price that comes with fame. It's about a young man who's reached millionaire status but still can't seem to completely escape the world that shaped him. It's about people who put everything on the line to protect someone else's future. And it's about a system that doesn't forget when someone beats the odds. The real question now is what happens next? Will YB take this close call as a lesson and start moving differently?
Will he finally realize that his freedom is worth more than any street image or temporary thrill? Or will he keep walking the same dangerous line until the system finds a way to catch up with him? And then there's Mellow Rackz and the driver. What's next for them? Will the Utah County Attorney's Office actually decide to move forward with charges, or will they see it as a case that isn't worth pushing? And if it does move forward, will YB step up and support the people who stood by him when it mattered most? For the culture, this is more than just gossip. It's a major wake-up call. It's a reminder that fame comes with responsibility, that loyalty has a cost, and that one wrong move can flip everything in an instant. The question now isn't whether YB is going to bounce back. It's whether he'll finally learn how to move like the superstar he's become. It's time we stop glorifying reckless behavior and start expecting our artists to make wiser moves. We have to hold them accountable when their choices put not only themselves, but also their teams and families at risk. Because every time an artist gets caught up or taken out of the game, we lose more than just a person. We lose a voice, a vision, and a piece of the culture that helps shape the music we love. NBA Youngboy has been given more chances than most people ever get. He's overcome huge legal challenges, received major breaks, and even had people close to him sacrifice for his sake. The real question now is, what will he do with all of that? Will he keep repeating old mistakes, or will he finally understand that he's sitting on something way too valuable to lose? Everyone's watching right now. The system, the state of Utah, and the entire hip-hop world. One wrong step could undo everything he's worked so hard to build. Fans are rooting for him to make the right move this time, to protect his freedom and his future before it's too late. And when it comes to Mellow Rackz taking that charge, what do you think? Was it real loyalty or a dangerous decision that could come back to haunt them both? Will YB stand by the people who stood by him, or will this turn into another story of loyalty being one-sided in the music world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and check out the next video for more updates on the legal battles and real-life drama shaping today's biggest artists. This is real-life accountability, real loyalty, and real consequences playing out in front of the world. Stay focused, stay aware, and remember, no level of fame or credibility is worth losing your freedom or